Hey guys, what's up? So, I don't do reviews very often for video games because I think there are so many people out there who only do reviews and they do a great job at it. And about most games, everything has been said anyway, so I don't need to add my thoughts to that. I just don't find it that interesting. But every now and then I play a game that is like so impressive to me for whatever reason that I just have to make a video about it and share my thoughts. So I think in terms of Alien Isolation, this is not really a review. Even I might have called the video review, I don't know yet. But it's not really a review. It's more like me going through my list of thoughts that I wrote down during the game. So I write down my thoughts while I play the game. And I just want to share those with you because I think Alien Isolation is a quite special game. It has a special place in my heart. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's basically what it is, and I just want to break down why that is, because it has deeply impressed me. Maybe just before I go into it, I just have to say I'm a huge Alien fan. I love all the movies. You know, I even love the third one, and I also like to watch the fourth one. Obviously, the first and second one are like just amazing masterpieces in itself, and I can't wait for the new one that will come out soon, or that they're going to start working on soon with Neil Blomkamp as a director. It's all very exciting, so I'm a huge Alien fan. So this game just hit me right in my heart, and I'm going to break down the thoughts why that is. And I'm just going to go through my list. I basically have a piece of paper here. You can hear it rattling in the back. And it has a lot of plus points, and it has a few negative points on there as well. So if you consider playing this game or buying this game, then maybe this video will help you. Or maybe you just find my thoughts on that interesting anyway. So first thing on my list is the engine. I think they actually kind of created their own engine for this game, and it is just an absolutely amazing engine. Like my computer, my PC is not particularly fast. It has like a Q6600 CPU from many years ago. It's not even the i generation, you know, i5, i7 or whatever from Intel. It's the generation before that. I do have a GTX 660, I think, which is also not a particularly fast graphics card. It has like 2 gigabytes of graphics storage. So my whole machine is not particularly fast or up to speed, but Alien Isolation runs with full settings, ultra settings, full 1080p at a constant 50-60 FPS. And it's just amazing to see because the game looks fantastic. The light, the atmosphere, like little particle effects like smoke or fire or sparks, it all looks fantastic and it just runs awesome. And before I bought the game, that was my main concern. I saw these videos and I was like, oh god, this game is not going to run great, but quite the opposite is the case. It looks and runs fantastic. The gameplay is quite experimental in the sense that I couldn't really compare it to any other game. It is clearly a stealth game, you know, it's not a shooter, even it is like played through the first person, but it's not a shooter. Like most of the time you're just hiding from the alien or hiding from other, you know, people. I don't want to spoil anything, but other characters in the game. So it is a lot about the mechanic of hiding and finding the right timing to get through certain passages of the game. And this basically creates like a really beautiful and thick claustrophobic atmosphere, if that makes sense, where you're constantly on edge and you're constantly expecting things to happen all around you. Even nothing happens, but it just pumped adrenaline through my veins because it's just such an amazing execution of atmosphere just with an environment. You know, if you have a corridor and there's smoke and you just hear something rattling kind of in the air ventilation shafts above you, it scares the shit out of you and it puts you on edge. And I had that in very, very few games before where it was executed so well. And that kind of leads me to the next plus point, which is the art direction. Like, the art direction is nailed, in my opinion, to absolute perfection. If you are a big fan of the first Alien movie, like of the Ridley Scott one, they just perfectly took this visual language and turned it into this massive space station. You know, it's like they took all the assets, they analyzed them, how the design language works, and then kind of nearly created a manual for it that kind of creates some kind of guideline for the whole design of the station and then executed it like really thoroughly. It's absolutely beautiful. You have moments where you come into, if you remember, the mother room in the first movie. where you basically have all these blinking lights all around you, and you have this computer where you can ask the mother computer of the ship, like certain questions. So you have rooms like this, you have these little sleeping pods that you see in the movie, but beyond that, it's just such an amazing execution of the visual language of Alien 1 and also to an extent Alien 2, plus a little bit of their own feeling, like their own touches to it, but it always, I feel, stays within the boundaries that the first two movies dictated, which is amazing, and which is exactly what I wanted. And there were so many moments in the game where I just came around a corner, or I looked into a room and I was just like holding my breath for a moment, because it was absolutely perfect. It was like a scene from the movie, like a new Alien movie, and you can actually walk into it and explore it. It's absolutely amazing on that. And I personally played the game in small chunks over a period of like 3 months or maybe 2 months or something. And I have to say it worked really, really well in that kind of dose, if that makes sense. Because you don't really get, it's not a very complex game. You don't get out of the mechanic. As soon as you enter the game, it immediately absorbs you again. And there are very few buttons that you need to know. And it immediately works, right? So playing it in these small doses worked quite well. I read a lot of people criticizing that the save points in the game are too far away from each other. So quite often you play, 15 minutes and then you die for whatever reason. And then you have to play it all again. I personally didn't feel that way, because the save points are creating the tension in the game to a certain extent. If you could quick save throughout the whole game, it would completely take the tension out. But because you in certain moments just have to really, really focus to make it to the next save point, it really, like I said in the beginning, keeps you on edge. It adds to the whole atmosphere and really makes you take the game serious. And that's just really brilliant. So I didn't feel that the save points were too far away from each other. I personally felt it was just right, basically. There were scenes, like moments in the game, where they were quite far apart from one another, but it never felt that like I had to play a scene like 5-6 times and every time do like a really long passage again. I didn't feel that, so I don't agree with that criticism. One thing that I really have to highlight when you compare this game to other Alien games or games that are in the Alien universe, like Colonial Marines and stuff like this, is that Alien Isolation is a game about the Alien universe and not only about the alien itself. I don't want to spoil, like I said, but there are cyborgs, there's the architecture, the atmosphere, the people. It's very claustrophobic. It is a game about the universe, and not a game only about this monster, right? And only about you walking down corridors shooting aliens or anything like that. It feels like the game covers a lot of ground all around the alien, right? And the alien obviously is there, and the story of the actual xenomorph is a big part of this game. But everything that happens around it is done really, really well and nearly becomes like a character in the game, if that makes sense. And I really enjoyed that. I hate games where it's just about, oh yeah, let's create some corridors that look like from the movie, and then the main thing is you hunt down these aliens, because it's just not enough. The Alien universe is so much richer, and this game found an amazing way to bring that to life, basically. And that really shows that the developers were also fans of the universe, because otherwise it wouldn't be possible. And if I then see a video like from another game, like for instance Star Wars Battlefront, where there was this studio tour video and they were all like, oh my god, it's a dream come true for all the developers because we all are such huge Star Wars fans. Well, it looks like your game is going to be a bit shit, to be honest, And if you're a big fan of a franchise like Star Wars or like Alien, then you have to make these harsh compromises and you have to boil down what this universe is all about. And if I look at the gameplay, I mean, obviously I haven't played it and I'm kind of judging by the cover here, but if I look at the videos that I've seen of, or the information that we got about Star Wars Battlefront, it just feels very much like they are taking a shooter and putting a skin of Star Wars on it, which is exactly the wrong way. You need to do it the other way around. You need to look at what is Star Wars all about. What can you do with that? And that's exactly what it seems to me the developers have done with Alien Isolation. They looked at the universe first and what makes these movies and this universe lovable, and then they built a game on that passion, right? And I just really can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It just feels like a passion project made for Alien fans by Alien fans, and that's just exactly what I want from a game like this. So guys, these were kind of my positive thoughts on the game. I'm sure there are a million other things, and if you have any thoughts on the game that I didn't mention that you enjoyed, or maybe even that you disliked, then leave those down in the comment section below. But now I do have a few negative points, and I don't only want to talk positive about this game. I want to highlight these points and share them with you. So the first one are the missions, right? The actual jobs that you get in the game, stuff you have to do. It quite often is a bit dull, and it's just like, hey, you have to go there and pick this up, and then you go there and there's the alien, and it kind of gets a bit repetitive after a while. Just have to pick something up or find information, and there's not a lot of diversity in the missions. The environments are quite diverse. I personally feel it, without spoiling anything, but you know, there are parts where you are outside in space and stuff, and I mean, you've probably seen that in the trailer. So they do keep the gameplay quite diverse, but the actual tasks that you do are not really. Also, the way you execute these missions, I've kind of touched on that before, but when you die and then you have to go back to the save point and you do the same passage again, most of the time it's just a repetition. There's no surprise there. Stuff happens exactly like it happened before. So it is a little bit an element of trial and error in there. If you've done it twice, you just know where the enemies are and how you have to act in order to avoid them. So it gets a bit repetitive at times, and that's kind of takes away from the atmosphere. But I can see the struggle of the developers to kind of overcome that. There's no easy solution to that. So I guess it does make sense, and it's definitely not a deal breaker, you know, but that's kind of one of the downsides of the game. And I guess a big point is that you really have to be into stealth games, right? If you don't like stealth games and games where you basically don't shoot and just hide most of the time and, you know, just absorb the atmosphere and the design of the game more than actually action around you, then this game is not for you. You know, you have to be into stealth games, and it is very much tailored to this kind of target audience, same as maybe a Splinter Cell game or a Thief game, where it is just all about playing stealthy and sneaking around. But I personally find, like, recently I really enjoy that more and more. I do like that because I feel a bit fed up with like action shooters and all these kind of games. I kind of had enough of that personally, so I do enjoy these stealth games. So guys, these are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope there were a few points in there that you didn't consider before. Like I said, if you think about buying the game, then hopefully this video helped you a little bit. If you played the game already and you finished it, then leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would be really keen to hear your opinion, because I think it has been quite a controversial game. It got as much love as hate, you know, from both sides. So it would be great to hear your thoughts, guys. Leave anything you want to mention in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, you can leave me a like. I know it was a bit long. I tried to keep it short, but hey, there you go. I got a few people who always say make longer videos, so here you get one. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can subscribe to my channel. Like I said, leave a like if you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Bye.